Yoga feels safe. That is exactly why it might be quietly failing you. If you are over 50 and you have been rolling out your mat, moving through gentle stretches, and telling yourself you are doing something good for your body, you are not wrong. But you may be missing the one biological process that determines whether you maintain your independence, your balance, and your strength as you age. And yoga, done alone, does not address it. Not even close. What I am about to share with you is something most physicians do not take the time to explain, and it changes everything about how you should be exercising in the second half of your life. I have spent years working with adults over 50, and I see the same pattern repeatedly. People doing the right things, stretching, walking, breathing, and still losing ground. Still finding stairs harder than they were 3 years ago. Still grabbing the railing. Still lowering themselves into a chair with that careful, controlled drop that tells me something important is happening beneath the surface. That something has a name. I call it the slow drain. Clinically, it is called sarcopenia, the gradual involuntary loss of skeletal muscle mass that begins in your 30s and accelerates sharply after 50. At its peak rate, you can lose 3 to 5% of your muscle mass every decade, and that number climbs after 60. Think of your muscular system like the structural beams of a house. Flexibility work, stretching, yoga, maintains the paint and the insulation. But if the beams are quietly rotting, none of that surface work matters when the storm comes. Now that we understand what is actually happening inside the body, we need to look at what most people are completely missing. Here is the part that surprises even active, health-conscious people. The slow drain is not just about how you look or how far you can reach. Muscle is your metabolic engine. It regulates blood sugar, supports bone density, and this is the part that stops my patients cold. It is the single strongest predictor of how long and how well you will live after 60. A landmark study published in the American Journal of Medicine, tracking over 4,000 adults, found that low muscle mass was a more accurate predictor of mortality risk than body fat percentage. More than body fat. Let that settle. Margaret, 63, came to me after her third fall in 2 years. She practiced yoga 4 times a week. She was flexible, calm, disciplined. But when I assessed her grip strength and her ability to rise from a chair without using her hands, the numbers told a different story. She had been maintaining her flexibility while her structural foundation quietly eroded. You may be thinking, I am not athletic. Heavy weights are not for me. I understand that thought. It feels like a reasonable line to draw. But what the research is telling us, and what I observe clinically, is that the alternative is not neutral. Inaction is a choice, and it is a costly one. The good news is that the prescription is not what you fear it is. Here is what I want you to do. Stay with me for the next few minutes, because I'm going to give you 5 specific strategies, counted down from 5 to 1, that work with your body's actual biological design to reverse the slow drain, protect your independence, and keep you doing the things that matter most to you for decades ahead. If you are already noticing changes in your strength or balance, type the word YES in the comments right now. You are not alone, and what comes next is for you specifically. Number 5. Resistance training twice a week, no gym required. Let me start with the fear. You picture a gym full of young people lifting enormous weights, and it feels like another world. I hear this constantly. But here is the clinical reality. Resistance training for adults over 50 does not require a barbell or a weight room. It requires progressive overload, meaning your muscles are asked to work slightly harder over time than they are accustomed to. A 2019 study from Brazil involving over 3,000 adults over 60 found that twice-weekly resistance training reduced all-cause mortality risk by 46% compared to sedentary individuals. 46%. That is not a fitness number. That is a survival number. Start with your own body weight. A sturdy chair placed against a wall. Stand in front of it. Lower yourself slowly over 5 full seconds, counting out loud if it helps, until you are seated. Then stand back up without using your hands. That 5-second descent is the key. Slow movement under load is what signals your muscle fibers to rebuild. The mistake most people make is sitting down quickly, which removes the stimulus entirely. Do 3 sets of 8 to 10 repetitions twice a week. Your legs will feel it by the 3rd set. That feeling is not damage. That is the rebuild signal firing. And what we protect with this one habit reaches even deeper into your future than you might expect. Number 4. Balance training that targets the neurological system, not just the body. Here is something most wellness content skips entirely. Balance is not primarily a muscular problem. It is a neurological one. Your brain maintains a real-time, 3-dimensional map of where your body is in space. This is called proprioception, or your body's positioning intelligence. After 50, this system degrades, quietly, without obvious symptoms, until the day it fails you at the top of the staircase. A study from the British Journal of Sports Medicine found that adults over 65 who practiced single-leg balance training reduced their fall risk by 37%. Falls are the leading cause of injury-related death in adults over 65. This is not a fringe statistic. This is a daily clinical reality. Stand behind a kitchen counter. Place your fingertips lightly on the surface. Not gripping, just touching. Lift 1 foot an inch off the floor. Hold for 30 seconds. Switch. Over days, reduce how much you rely on the counter. The mistake to avoid is holding the counter tightly, which cheats the neurological system of the challenge it needs to rewire. Your fingertips are a safety net, not a support beam. 4 rounds per day takes less than 5 minutes and gives your brain the daily recalibration it was designed to receive. What we address next affects something even more foundational than balance. Number 3. Hip hinge mechanics, the movement that determines functional independence. James, 71, told me he stopped gardening because bending over had become painful and uncertain. He was not injured. He had simply lost the motor pattern of the hip hinge, the ability to fold forward from the hips rather than rounding from the lower spine. This single movement pattern governs picking things up from the floor, loading the dishwasher, getting in and out of a car, and 100 daily acts you perform without naming them. The hip hinge is the mechanical language of independence. Lose it, and every bending task shifts load to your lumbar spine, which is not designed to carry it. Research published in Spine Journal found that faulty hip hinge mechanics were present in over 60% of adults over 50 with chronic low back pain. The structure was fine. The movement pattern was broken. Practice this with a wall behind you. Stand 2 feet from the wall, feet hip-width apart. Soft bend in the knees. Push your hips back toward the wall while keeping your chest proud, not dropping, not rounding. Touch the wall with your hips. Return to standing. That is the pattern. Practice 10 repetitions twice daily. The common mistake is hinging from the waist instead of the hips, which simply recreates the problem you are trying to solve. Feel the difference between your lower back moving and your hips moving. Your body knows the distinction immediately. And the next item on this list protects a system that most people over 50 are not thinking about at all. Number 2. Grip and upper body pulling strength, the underrated biomarker of longevity. Your grip strength is not a vanity measure. It is one of the most robust biomarkers of aging in clinical research. A large-scale study published in The Lancet, tracking over 140,000 adults across 17 countries, found that grip strength was a stronger predictor of cardiovascular mortality than blood pressure. Stronger than blood pressure. and yet no one checks it at a routine physical. Upper body pulling. The motion of drawing something toward your body, like opening a heavy door, pulling yourself up from a low surface, or lifting a grandchild, depends on the same muscle chains that determine grip strength. After 50, these chains weaken faster than most people realize because daily life rarely challenges them adequately. Use a resistance band anchored at a low point. A door handle works. Sit in a chair. Hold the band with both hands and pull your elbows back past your ribs in a slow, controlled row. 3 sets of 12 repetitions. The mistake here is using momentum, jerking the band, which bypasses the muscle entirely and loads the shoulder joint instead. Pull slowly. Return slowly. Feel the muscles between your shoulder blades engage. That engagement is what you are training, and it protects everything from carrying groceries to catching yourself on a rail. What comes next is the most important strategy on this list, and it is the one almost nobody talks about. Number 1. Daily low-intensity walking, combined with brief, high-effort intervals. The prescription most doctors never write. Here is the inside knowledge. Walking alone is not enough, but walking combined with brief 20 to 30-second intervals of higher effort, a faster pace, a gentle incline, climbing 2 flights of stairs, triggers a fundamentally different biological response than steady-state movement. It activates mitochondrial biogenesis, your cells building new energy-producing units, which is the cellular mechanism behind sustained vitality after 50. Call it relighting the furnace. A Norwegian study of over 1,000 adults over 60 found that those who incorporated even 1 to 2 minutes of higher effort movement within daily walks showed significantly better cardiovascular markers and cognitive function than those who walked at a constant pace. Same total time, profoundly different signal to the body. Walk for 5 minutes at your comfortable pace. Accelerate for 20 to 30 seconds, not sprinting, just noticeably more effort. Return to comfort. Repeat 3 to 4 times per walk. The common mistake is skipping this when it feels hard. That brief discomfort is the signal. That is exactly when the furnace reignites. Avoid it and you walk for health maintenance. Include it and you walk for transformation. 5 strategies. Resistance training twice weekly. Daily balance recalibration. The hip hinge pattern. Pulling strength and grip work. Walking with brief, high-effort intervals. Taken together, these are not a fitness routine. They are a communication strategy. Your response to what your body is telling you in every stiff morning, every hesitant stare, every moment of reaching for support you did not used to need. Your body is not failing. It is asking. Think forward with me. 1 year from now, if you apply these 5 strategies consistently, you will notice that you rise from a chair without thinking about it. 3 years from now, the gap between what you can do and what your peers can do becomes visible, and you are on the favorable side of it. 5 years from now, the habits you build today are the difference between a life lived on your own terms and one spent navigating the growing cost of inaction. That distance between dependence and independence is built or lost in the ordinary, unglamorous choices you make on Tuesday morning before anyone is watching. Investing in your body at 50 is not vanity. It is the most practical, long-term decision you will make all year. What is your biggest challenge right now? Is it finding the motivation, the time, or knowing where to start? Tell me in the comments. I read them, and your answer helps me know what to address next. If this video gave you something useful, share it with someone over 50 who is still waiting for permission to take this seriously. Subscribe if you want to keep going. There is a video on this channel specifically about what to eat after 50 to support the muscle you are building, and it pairs directly with everything we covered today.